this video with nerdstomper.com. This is going to be the second video in a three-part series on Swiftblade, and it's going to cover the early to mid game. The first video covered the general strategy for Swiftblade, including item build and skill build, and the next video is going to cover the mid to late game. Second replay is actually a little old, from an in-house game that I played before Kraken got changed. But the Kraken change isn't that important, and most of the concepts covered in this video we're still going to apply. In fact, all of them are still going to apply. So this game, I was soloing middle with Swiftblade. So for the starting items, I know I mentioned there was decisions you had to make in the first video. So basically, on the other team, I saw possible solos as Kraken, Valkyrie, and I believe that was it. But against Kraken, I wouldn't need a Iron Buckler, but against Valkyrie, I would. I might need it, but I'm not sure. I wasn't sure like which one was going to be going middle, so I didn't want to buy an Iron Buckler if Kraken was going middle. So I decided to put off buying it. If it really was a problem, then I could just bring myself the Buckler with the Courier. The goal with this item build, though, is not to get a shield if it's Valkyrie. Hopefully, I'll be able to farm fast enough so I can get a bottle, since Valkyrie's auto attacks aren't that strong, so harassment's a little weak. So if I'm able to get a bottle quickly, then I'll be able to offset her harassment by getting the runes. Anyway, I'm basically standing in the same spot I stand every game when I'm soloing middle. This spot basically gives you a vision of where they're standing if they're gonna stop you from, if they're checking the top rune, and it also gives you a vision of the rune. So it's basically a really safe spot. It gives you a really good vision, which is why I stay there. This game I actually saw a regeneration rune there, which is gonna affect my gameplay at level 1. So basically I didn't take the regen runes because I was planning to pick it up. And it also means that I'm almost certainly going to get my bottle in time, which is good news. Basically the plan is just using my spin to just like waste it or just get as much value as I can. Normally when you spin at level 1, but since there's a regen top, there's no point not using it, since spinning the wave is better than just sitting there taking harassment and trying to last hit. So that's why you spin. Obviously he took some damage from it. I lost a lot of mana, but half health doesn't matter because I'm picking up a regen. This is an example basically of not always burning the regen rune at level 1. I see a lot of people just see any rune at level 1 and just automatically take it no matter what it is. But if it's a regen, you can do something like that and take advantage of it. Now, I'm almost certainly going to get my bottle on time. Valkyrie's at like half health, and I got like a free wave of experience. Even if I didn't get that many creep kills, which was kind of unlucky with my spin, I still got the full wave of experience since he wasn't able to deny either, since my spin made it so hard to do that. So with that, I can basically just spin again, since at the end of the spin, as long as I get like 2 creeps like I just got there, I'm going to have enough gold for bottles. So obviously I'm going to need to use the bottle to refill my HP anyway, since Valk's harassing me. So I might as well use the mana since I'm going to be using the bottle, right? So whenever you find that you're at full mana but low HP, you want to find a way to use your mana so that when you consume a bottle charge, you get the full use out of it, and not just your HP. The opposite's also a little true. When you have full HP but low mana, you want to find some way to get some value out of the extra HP you can get from using your bottle. So you can either go more aggressively for last hits, as I did a little bit there, or you can try to get in a harass fight with them, since the end result is going to be you at full health. Just make sure you don't like get into a really bad fight and kill yourself trying to get value out of your bottle, because that would be bad. So another spin there, the second spin I did before I picked up the rune, wasn't because I had extra mana or extra HP or anything. It was because the rune was about to spawn and I wanted to push the lanes to leave myself free to go grab the rune without missing experience. And obviously if he goes for it, then he does miss experience. It's a little different from normal. Normally the convention is that you always want your lane to be not pushed, right? But when you're fighting over the rune, you do want your lane to be pushed. So basically, in 3 out of the 4 waves, you want your lane to be not pushed, but in 1 out of the 4 waves, every 2 minutes, obviously, you want your lane to be pushed right before the rune. This concept also applies to side lanes, since side lanes can also help check the rune. It actually really helps your middle a lot if you check the rune for them. So in side lanes, it helps a little bit if the lane's pushed. You're really not going to try to push out the lane, but if the lane does happen to be pushed, then it's not that bad since you can go check the rune with that. But anyway, since I was effectively able to press the advantage by just spamming every wave with spin and getting all the runes, kind of getting ahead in this lane since Valkyrie, he just got his bottle when I got my bottle like a while back, and I already got a rune. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to get the next rune with the same push the lane before the rune spawns tactic that I've been using. This next rune is actually gonna be pretty huge since he had to use his entire bottle to get to full health, and I'm gonna be out of bottle charges when I'm at full health. So the next rune is gonna be pretty important. I actually run bottom here because Valkyrie's standing closer to top, and if he wants to get the rune, there's nothing really I can do about it since has a leap obviously, so he's just gonna get the rune no matter what. If we both start running at the same time, like if I start running from the lane and he starts running from the lane at the same time, even if I take a better path, he can still get there first because of his leap skill. Also, he used his Starfall, which basically made my lane pushing strategy kind of ineffective since he just killed all of our creeps too. So if all creeps are dead and all my creeps are dead, it still doesn't help the situation for me like getting the rune because the lane is pushed. So it was pointless for me to spin there, and I just picked up. One thing I did notice though, he used leap when he got the rune at top, which left him kind of open to a combo for me with just my ultimate and a spin afterward. So while he didn't really realize it, I realized it, and he fell. It's really important when you're playing Swiftblade against heroes that have escape skills like Hag and Valkyrie to know when they use it in side lanes. It's more important for Valkyrie than Hag since Valkyrie's has like a 40-second cooldown. If he uses it in a side lane gank, it's pretty likely that when he gets back to your lane, his leap's going to be on cooldown. And if you can get off a combo during that, like during that window of time where his leap's on cooldown, then you'll be able to get a kill on Valkyrie with Swiftblade, which is obviously pretty rare, and you'll be able to at least impress the rest of the game and probably also improve your odds of winning since you just got to. So anyway, there's the rune spawning in like 30 seconds. I just went to the fountain obviously because I was really low, but that means that I'm full HP, full mana, full bottle, which means that before the next rune spawns, I can basically just use spin on the wave since I'm just gonna be able to bottle up in the worst case scenario, and in the best case scenario, I won't even have to. It looks like he's hitting me a couple times, so one bottle charge is probably going to be consumed by my spinning this wave, which is a-okay since one bottle charge, or two bottle charges even, isn't exactly a commodity that I need at the moment. Unfortunately, Valkyrie is one of the better heroes against Swiftblade since not only is his leap really good against your spin, he also can get runes from you because his leap also stops you from like pushing the lane and getting the rune, since he can always just run to the rune before you get there. It does like he's not that skill in particular isn't stopping your strategy of forcing him to lose the XP to get the rune, but he also has an air effect nuke which does stop that strategy. So since he got the bottom rune, I'm actually gonna have a different laning strategy than normal. Normally I would just spin and not care about him hitting me or anything, or even using the mana since I'm just gonna bottle it back up again. But now that I don't have bottle charges, I'm probably just gonna stay back in last hit. I'm not gonna use a spin on the creeps since that would put me below enough mana to do my full combo, which is ultimate plus spin. And I always want to have enough mana to do that. So since like if any fight occurs that I can walk to, or if Valkyrie messes up somehow, or if someone comes to gank, basically any of those scenarios, I want to be able to do everything my hero is supposed to do. The easiest way to lose a lane that I see so many people do is just sit there with like not enough mana to do all their spells, and the other team can just play so aggressively since they don't have to be scared of anything. And that's really not what I want to be doing, so it's not what I'm going to be doing here. Anyway, it looks like the game was paused, so I'm going to fast forward through that. So I have to sit through the entire pause that the people in the game did. It looks like it was a rather long pause. I keep clicking on this fast forward button, and it's still not getting unpaused. Anyway, in the gank before this pause, our affiliate went really early since I was like not even close to in range, and he just showed Valkyrie that he was there, so Valkyrie's going to play super passive, and that's not what we want when we're ganking, so that was not a good idea. I do have enhanced marchers now, and I was able to pick up the wards that someone else bought, so I decided to go for a kill on Valkyrie, hoping he didn't really know how to play around my ultimate. And I was partly right. He did his leap at the right time. Basically, when you're playing against a Swiftblade with Valkyrie, you're supposed to wait for him to finish his ultimate and then leap away when his spin's about to hit you. Uh, Even though some Valkyries will just press leap instinctively while your ultimate's going, and then your ultimate will just follow them. Then you can spin on them to death. But he didn't make that mistake. He leapt after my ultimate finished, but he kind of leapt the wrong way. I think my ultimate like blocked him, so he had to turn around and leap the other way, and that was right into the hands of our Ophelia. So that gank worked out. Obviously, that was kind of a mistake by him, but the reason I went for it is because to escape my ultimate, he would have to run through the trees, and running through the trees, there's a pretty good chance that you randomly get turned in a direction you don't want to be going. When you're trying to leap, that could be detrimental. So that's why I did that. I got an illusion rune, and I decided to go on bottom, but this actually ended up being pretty bad since they had so many people TPing. My illusions did tank the tower like they were supposed to, but since Valkyrie teleported bottom, I couldn't really do very much since the fight suddenly turned bad with me in a really bad position, like behind their tower. Most of that was really the fault of bottom lane, though, since when you have someone coming to gank for you from behind the tower, what you should be doing is pushing the tower so that your creeps are actually attacking the tower. So your creeps will tank the tower while the guy ganking from behind the tower doesn't have to do that as. And our bottom lane failed to do that. So basically, the creep line was really far from the tower, which made it really hard for me to get to the fight in time, since I had to run. Not only did I have to run through a tower, which was not that bad since I had illusions, but that distance is also much longer than it should have been. I shouldn't be able to spin like at the beginning of the fight, not after two people had already died. But anyway, barring that, there's another concept there that you should pick up. Using illusions to block damage from the tower is pretty important when you have that rune. But also, Swiftblade is very, very capable of diving a tower as long as something else is tanking it for him. The reason is that in this game, the tower doesn't aggro you unless you actually attack a hero. If you do damage to them with a magic spell, the tower doesn't actually aggro you. So spin counts as a magic spell. So you can, as long as there are creeps or anything else tanking the tower for you, you can freely just spin on enemy heroes and tower will not turn around and hit you, which is it's something you should definitely use a lot with Swiftblade when you're tower diving. So I do go back to middle here, but the reason isn't because like I started solo mid, so I should always just go stay solo mid. Once you get phase boots or like 10 minutes into the game, whichever comes first, the game really changes. You shouldn't just go to whatever lane you started in. You should really look at what lane is most beneficial for you to be in. So I went middle because I can easily walk to top or bottom from there, and I was really eager to pick a fight since I just got enhanced marchers recently, and also my ultimate was up. So I really wanted to pick a fight, which is why I went middle, since it can easily just walk to wherever a fight breaks out easiest. The ultimate on Valkyrie, I was basically just hoping he didn't know what he was doing, but he is someone that I recognized as like someone who usually doesn't mess up like that, so I really should have expected him to know what to do and not waste my ultimate like that. Anyway, as it happened though, that forced Valkyrie to use her leap, and she got engaged in a fight in middle too soon afterwards. Her leap was down, which made her easy prey for my spin, as well as some stuns for my allies. Basically, whenever you're against like a hero whenever you're against Valkyrie really, in the early levels, since her leap has such a long cooldown and she's not really leveling it up, you should really pay attention to when she leaps, and what times that's going to make her an easy target for you. Anyway, I'm not going to go for the tower kill here, since if I go for it, I'm pretty easy prey, since even though I do have my spin up, there's already a Hellbringer there. I would have to tank the tower in order to go for the kill, so I don't like that. And even if I went for it, there's still a chance it gets denied, and there's no chance that I'm like gonna kill it and just easily walk out. I'm still gonna get harassed a lot, which is not what I wanted. So as soon as I decided that, I should have just immediately run back and not try to do anything, but I decided to do something stupid and just hang around for no reason, and then got caught, obviously, by the old Kraken's ultimate. Obviously, it's not something you want to do. When you realize that you're not going to go for a tower, just flee immediately away from it, since it is a deniable tower, which means that enemy heroes are going to flock to it like moss to a flame. So if you decided it's too risky for you to go for the tower, just start running. And I didn't do that, which is why I died there. But anyway, I have a fair amount of gold. I'm probably going to finish my first part of Ruined X shortly, so I'm going to declare the early game over. Please stay tuned for part 3, which is going to be commented play of the mid to late game from this same game. It's not going to pick off exactly where I left off. I'm going to skip a few minutes where all I do is hit creeps and maybe get caught a couple times. But please stay tuned. It's going to be a good watch. Once again, this is Yoda from Team Evil Geniuses. Thanks for watching.